Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Empires and Puzzles video. It's been a little while. I keep meaning to make more videos, and then it just doesn't happen, but I always enjoyed doing the Soul Exchange videos, so let's do this one. By this point, you've probably seen what's out there, and from looking at the comments, people are often just wanting to either justify a decision that they've already made, or maybe some people have delayed that decision and they're wanting to consider some more perspective. So if you've ever wondered what Empires and Puzzles would be like with way more quality of life features, a dev team that listens to player feedback, and more value for your money spent, then download Gemstone Legends right now from the links in the description of this video to get yourself a free $50 starter bonus. I know it can be intimidating to start a new game like this, but between myself and other great content creators, there are tons of tutorial videos out there to make playing Gemstone Legends a lot of fun. The fact that they offer a $50 starter bonus to new players and have such great quality of life features are two big reasons why over 50,000 Empires and Puzzles players have already made the switch. It's awesome, and I look forward to seeing you there. That's what we're going to do. It seems that with the Empires and Puzzles videos these days, people are like trying to talk about stuff before it's even happening, which is not really something that I enjoy. You know, it's like they see the possible list and they're speculating, and there's like this race to be the first person to talk about something well before it's happening, and not really my style. So hopefully you guys appreciate talking about it while it's happening, because I just think the whole race to get out first is not something that I really want to be a part of. So here we go. We'll start with 10, go to 15, and then to 20. I think I have my mind made up already, but there's some pretty good options in here this time, I would say, and a nice variety, which is good to see. So looking at 10, we have Akonia. It's kind of amazing to see a super elemental hero in the 10 soul level. That's a strong indication that they did a poor job. Actually, we're seeing... there's one at level 20, the 20 soul level. So they're trying to say that this one is half as good as another one. So I don't know. It's just surprising that usually this is like really old heroes of the month and stuff, but the super elemental are some of their premium heroes. Anyways, should we look with or without limit break? I'm going to look without the double limit break button turned on, because it's unreasonable to think that everyone is going to take a hero that far these days, and it's at plus 25 as well, which is like the most extreme thing you can do. Okay, so fast speed, we have a rogue, which is nice. I'm not going to look at the passives. I guess I'll open it real quick. You can pause. They're worth considering, and I probably should talk about it, but I don't want to make the video too long, so I wouldn't. If the passive seems worth choosing the hero just for the passive, then I'll include it. Otherwise, I'm not going to. All right, fast speed. Summons a dagger fiend for the target and holy enemies. The fiend damages the target with 250% attack every turn. So, like many of these heroes, they affect the target and everyone of the weak element. No direct damage. Only absorbs 20% of the health. Disappears when it has absorbed. When the dagger fiend disappears after it has absorbed enough healing, the owner receives 810 bleed over 3 turns, which does not scale. So yeah, the lack of direct damage is not that good. If this was a replicating fiend, that would be something, because it could spread and the damage would actually start to add up, and then the bleed damage and everything could be there. So that would make this hero a lot better, but just with the one, hard to recommend that hero. All right, Nemesis, the passive of not or being is it immune to innate resistance against defense down, which is pretty nice, especially if you have more dated stats like these, and for a paladin who is likely going to have increased defense. So times 1 charge. These are 6, 9, and 12 tiles regardless of troop. It's possible with like a wizard troop and a mono node and something else that you might be able to boost these up, but for the most part you're looking at 6, 9, and 12. So 500 to the target. For 3 turns, each time an enemy's mana is reduced by a special skill, status effect, level property, passive skill, family effect, or minion, they receive 250 damage. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't block the mana increase though. And 250 is not that high these days with how high HP is. Like, this hero was created when 1400 HP was a respectable amount, and now it's just not anymore. Second charge deals 640% damage to the target. All enemies are immune to new status effect buffs for 3 turns. Attempted mana generation buffs will be replaced by minus 34% mana generation. So usually these times 1, times 2, times 3 special skills are a scaling effect of the same skill. However, these are different skills so far. Blocking mana increase, blocking buffs, and punishing mana generation buffs in particular. Times 3 deals 680% damage to the target. All enemies are immune to new status effect buffs for 3 turns. Attempted mana generation buffs will be replaced by minus 34% mana generation for 4 turns. For 3 turns, each time an enemy's mana is increased. Okay, so then you get both of them. So there's kind of like an A and a B, and then at times 3 you get A and B. So decent sniper, but with an attack stat that low, you're going to have a hard time. You're not going to be killing heroes without hitting them at least 2 times. So that's not great. Zenobia, also very dated stats. Deals 320% damage to the enemies on the edges of the enemy formation. If there's only one, it's doubled. We've seen that before. And then you get fire shields have plus 64% attack, or if this hero's on defense, minus 57% attack. With the dated stats, no other benefits besides that. It's like, yeah, you could argue that she has a place as a Titan hero, but that's a very low priority, I would say, unless that's what you enjoy the most, and then you might want to consider this, but not a lot going on there. Average speed, like this should be very fast speed or something at this point in the game, and even still she wouldn't be that good. So yeah, wouldn't recommend. Ulius. These passives are worth mentioning because they're very strong. When this character casts their special skill, they have a 50% chance to deal 100% damage. That one's not very good, but this is very good. When this character casts their special skill, either level, all enemies get minus 5% mana generation stack. If this special skill is fully charged, times 2, all enemies get 2 stacks. An enemy can have up to 10 stacks. So these are a real pain in the ass. Obviously, if the hero is better, they're even worse, but these don't go away unless you have some way to clear stacks, which I don't think there's any hero that's clearing stacks off of your entire team. So these heroes are a huge pain in the ass. This one is not too bad outside of that, but the passive is worth mentioning. All right, times 1 summons an enchanted sigil minion for each ally with 15% HP and 20% attack. When summoned, the minion gives plus 20% mana generation for as long as the owner has this minion. Can't be dispelled. Okay, that's cool, but not that good. Let me know if anyone has done the math. You know, if you fire him 6 tiles, how much... I don't think 20% would be enough to... No, it definitely wouldn't be enough to get like a slow speed hero charged in 3 more tiles, for example, like in the same color. So I can't see a situation where that's like a big tactical advantage. Can it help? Yes, but it's hard to like make something specific happen with that. Times 2 summons a cursed sigil fiend for all enemies, damaging with 100% attack every turn. Absorbs 60% max health when summoned. Gives minus 38% mana generation. This guy kind of sucks. The passive is good. This, what is it? 15% HP is horrible. So the passive is good, but these effects, this is not going to win you a battle, except in very rare situations. So there's just not nearly enough going on here. Yeah. Oof. All right. Liadria, old hero of the month. Average speed, 30% minion for all allies. When summoned, the minion boosts 100 health at the end of each turn as long as the minion is there. Can't be dispelled. All allies' special skill deals an additional plus 20% damage for 4 turns. Element Link gives all nature allies plus 10% additional special skill damage. So those stack, which is cool, but still only 30%, which is not that much. Can't recommend her either. So from this level, oof, God, they're all, in my personal opinion, they're all bad in their own way, whether it's dated stats or something like that. I might lean Nemesis. Zenobia is just not enough going on. Ullius has a good passive, which could turn the tides in your favor, but his skill is just not very good. Like, you really need to have a team that's ready to capitalize if you're going to try to use him to good effect, because he's just not doing enough. Aconia with the one fiend. Ugh. Yeah, I would take Liadria or Nemesis, depending on whether you need support or an attacker. But realistically, you should try to go up to level 15 if you're able to. So let's look at that. We have Becky. Popular at first because she was kind of like a guardian hippo mechanic, but she's not as good in my opinion for a few reasons. So we have the same negative stack passive, which is very good. ×1 deals 350% damage to the target. That's a very weak amount of damage for her attack stat. Each time the target activates their special skill during 3 turns, mana of all other enemies is reduced by 15%. That should be maybe not at very fast speed, but for that only being on one target, it's like you still get hit by that special skill. All that's happening is you're now blocking the other heroes from attacking for 1 turn, maybe. So yeah, not great. This is the charge. That's good, but keep in mind this is slow speed, and you can't use most traditional methods to make this functionally fast speed. Increase the mana of all allies by 10%. For the next 5 turns, this character deals 250% damage to all enemies each time any other ally casts their special skill. So can you use this to good effect? Absolutely. But is it a little bit difficult to use based on the slow speed? It is. However, if you think that you can make this work, or you've seen a synergy where that's particularly good, then certainly worth considering here. Very surprised to see Constance in here already, because she is one of the more recent heroes from this pool of heroes, the Musketeer family, but clearly they don't hold her in very high regard, and I really didn't either when she came out. 230% damage to all at fast speed is pretty low these days. All allies get plus 45% chance to dodge special skills for 3 turns. Each dodge damages the attacker by 100. That's just not enough of an offset. Like, make it 75% chance to dodge, something significantly higher. They've never done anything like that before, but probably what would make it more balanced is to make that for 4 turns and increase the damage at least by some amount. Best yet would just be for her to deal like 330% damage. That would make her a lot better. I forget if it's the family bonus or the passive. Yeah, so this is where it's at for these heroes. For 1, 2, and 3 heroes, 50, 75, or 100% chance to give cover to a random ally for 3 turns when this character casts their special skill. While in cover, the ally takes no damage from special skill attacks or normal attacks. This character takes 60, 50, or 40% of that damage that would be received by the character in cover. So just a massive damage reduction, and it's keeping one hero perfectly safe. It's random, which is not as good, but still worth mentioning. Can't be dispelled, but ends when this character is defeated. Characters can give cover to only one ally at a time. So a lot of these Musketeer heroes are made better by having some increased defense or heal over time applied to them, so that they're kind of more suited to giving cover for the other hero, but this one doesn't. When this character receives damage from special skills or in place of a character in cover, there's a 60% chance to deal 20% to all enemies. So that's pretty good as well. That might be enough for you to consider this hero, and it's certainly worthy those two components make this hero worthy of consideration, but not the best hero still. All right, this one hasn't been around for too long and is already in here. Average speed recovers 45% health for all allies. All allies bypass defensive buffs with their attacks for 4 turns. All allies get plus 50% critical chance for 4 turns. I like that. Decent heal, I guess, just for sake of consideration. Let's see. So yeah, those stats. Okay. So nice heal. Not boosted health, but a nice heal. Bypass defensive buffs, including counterattack, is nice. And increased defense. And plus 50% critical chance for 4 turns is quite nice. And one of the better ones out there. I actually like that, because critical damage, I think, is double damage. And so having a 50% chance of dealing double the tile damage when combined with other attack buffs can yield some huge damage. I think Phenexa is only 35% critical chance for 3 turns, maybe. I forget exactly. She has the restart buffs thing, which is quite nice. But yeah, this is worthy of consideration as a support hero. And unless you have a buff blocking ailment or something like that, knowing that you can deal huge damage and you don't need to worry about counterattack is pretty nice. So I actually like this hero a lot as a support hero. Thanatos is pretty nice as well. Again, pretty dated stats. Not terrible, but pretty dated. Times 1, which is 6 tiles, recovers 20% health for all allies. All allies get plus 24% mana generation. So when you compare that to this guy, same speed, but it's only 20, and it's tied to, the minion could get taken out pretty easily in 1 turn, and then it's gone, whereas here you have it for 2 turns at least. It's not a huge difference, but if you think of it as 20% health and a 15% HP minion, those are pretty similar. However, this is 5% more and 4% mana generation, but there is an expiration date on it. Times 2, 9 tiles, recovers 30% health for all allies, increases the mana of all allies by 10%. Now, I don't know, that's functionally fast speed, the times 2. Is that enough to bring a blue slow speed hero to fully charged? I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. So if anyone knows for sure, please let us know, because that would be the best utility of this hero. And a reason why I might consider them, because now you can bring a slow speed blue hero and make them fast speed, assuming you can keep both of them alive long enough, which is a pretty good synergy. One of the better synergies. It's not really supported in the meta. It's kind of a bit more dated because of the heroes that utilize it, but worth considering. Times 3, huge. Recovers 50% health for all allies. Increase the mana of all allies by 20%. All allies get plus 40% mana generation for 4 turns. I know one of the guys in our alliance really likes this hero. Pulled him during the portal off, just a couple pulls, and has made good use of him. So this is definitely someone that can help your team a lot. Instead of just getting increased mana generation, you're actually getting a tangible amount of mana. Also, since he's dated, having this immunity to defense down can be really helpful. And I think that means that Pepper Flame or some of those heroes that have a decreased defense that's tied to a timer, or once it's cleansed or replaced, you take damage. I think this means that you're immune from that as well. All right, last up, Archie. Fast speed, 250% damage to all enemies. All enemies are immune to new status effect buffs for 4 turns and receive 150 damage for each attempted buff. So there has been a costume that's come out since that I think is an improvement over this. So you're getting the older version. I don't think this thing fits into this style of hero fits into the meta anymore, really. It's like the damage is too low. You're kind of like, you're delaying the damage. So you get a low upfront damage with the promise that if you can cause them to try to buff themselves, then they'll take more damage. And it's like that kind of situational thing where certain constraints need to be met for the damage to be applied. It's just not nearly as good as a hero that's just going to throw out higher damage to begin with. Buff blocking is nice. You could look at it as just buff blocking and the damage is a bonus on top of that. So up to you to decide whether that fits into something that you need or not. The caster gets minus 10% accuracy for 4 turns, can't be cleansed, can be blocked though. And minus 10 is not that bad really. Okay, from this level, who would I take? I would say the center 3 are going to be the most reliable. They all serve a purpose, so I can't really just say, like, here's the one clear answer. It's like Archie has the potential for buff blocking, which can be helpful if you don't already have that. Thanatos can allow you to use slow speed blue heroes, potentially. Someone please weigh in if 10% is enough to charge if you've used that. And you know. Flipper, is that his name? Flip. I kind of like that. There's something I really like about critical damage. You know I love 4-turn buffs, and 50% is just like, it's nice that you have a coin flip whether you get the damage or not. 45, it's like, it's close to that, but there's something nice about it. It's just like equal chance it happens and doesn't happen. So that means if you put 4 tiles, chances are 2 of those are going to yield some pretty big damage. Constance, really nice family bonus and passive. Doesn't do a lot on her own. Could be part of a good team and could help support a good team. Becky is very alluring, and I understand it's like you want that Hippo type effect, but having both of them, she's just not as good as Hippo. And that ×1 charge, it's really hard to use that in a way that is impactful. So you're really just trying to get that second charge out of her, and So I would take one of the center 3, depending on whether you want to try to use that blue synergy if it works. You want a healer that can really boost your damage and help you bypass counterattack, or you want a yellow attacker that can help with your team survivability. All right, last level here. Rockfort, same mechanics as Constance. Fighter class now, a bit better. Average speed though. Deals 565% damage to the target and minor to nearby enemies. If the target is defeated in 3 turns, all enemies receive 626 damage, which does scale up to 952 at the cap. It could go a bit higher because when you click this limit break button, it's not the idealized all attack emblem path as far as I know. It's just kind of like a random path, a more balanced approach maybe. So this could maybe go up a bit. But yeah, he was pretty... I don't even know if I can say dominant, but he was pretty present for a while when he was new and can be punishing for sure. Like, this is a hero that can still sneak up on you and screw you over when you're not paying attention. Fighter class is nice. All the cover stuff is nice. Yeah, well, we'll come back to this in a minute. Queen Yowaing. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Okay, so this was what's this family called? Journey family, before they got the really awesome passives where when they receive a buff, they can get mana and healing. So she's before that. Average speed, 330 to all. All allies get 10% mana every time an enemy uses their special skill for 4 turns. That's an ailment that you do need to be able to land. I believe it's an ailment, not a buff. Either way, you got to be able to land it. It can't be blocked. Caster gets Vengeance. If Vengeance is dispelled by a special skill, all enemies receive 525 damage. So, and that should scale. Nope, it does not scale. So yeah, you're getting decent damage. Her attack stat being under 800 is insane. That's very low. I think they were trying to put her out as a tank because she's dealing decent damage. And early in the match, now she's boosting the mana of others, but she never really stuck as a tank. The Vengeance thing, yeah, it's like, okay, you just got to make sure you don't dispel, but you can pretty easily survive 525 damage in a variety of situations. Where, like, now, what was that new purple... I can't even keep track of all this stuff. There's the, like, Phantom of the Opera family, the... whatever they're called, like the ballet shoes family. The newest purple one hits a single target with a huge amount of damage, and then they get silenced And when the dance that they have expires, they receive like 1700 damage, and it spreads. So that is extremely powerful. Or maybe it's 1800. It might even scale. I don't know. 525 is pretty minor compared to that. So this is kind of a medium hero in my mind. Like, yeah, there's some good stuff going on. However, all of it's just kind of a bit lower than you'd hope it to be. Hypnos, again, quite dated stats, nice immunity to defense down ailments. This guy I was using for quite a while. He was like super good when he came out as part of the Black Friday or one of those kind of summons, and he was in there and it was like, damn, this guy's amazing, because you had a very fast buff blocker. And then at the second charge, he's dispelling first, then dealing damage, then blocking buffs. Third charge, dispelling, deals 385, blocking for 4 turns. So he's nice. The stats are dated. Keep in mind, he'll be a little more survivable because of the passive ability. The class is a nice fit for him because he's hitting everyone. And maybe you need fast speed buff blocking. Clearly, they still value him well because he's at the 20 souls level. And I do like having him, and I have made a lot of use of him, but his damage is just, from my experience, too low for the caliber of heroes that you're fighting now. Where, like, if you're fighting a Toon hero with massive stats, like, he's just tickling him, and you might not even land the buff blocking status ailment anyways. So it depends. I haven't been using him for that reason, because these kind of like older AoE heroes just aren't up to snuff anymore, because the newer ones are like dealing 440% damage or something, from the start. All right, second to last hero here, we have Cell. Fairly recent, also with the same passive, and the additional passive is this character is cleansed of status ailments when a minion owned by them is destroyed. So the biggest problem with this hero is slow speed. The rest is pretty cool, and it didn't really take over the meta. I've fought this hero and it's been annoying at times, and other times it hasn't really mattered. Summons a Rock Golem minion for each ally with 40% HP and 50% attack. Rock Golem minion gives its owner Golem Stone Skin when summoned, and again every 3 turns. Can't be dispelled. So you get 1 hit that you can turn into 1 damage only, and this can be a real pain depending on how the match is going. But it's only every 3 turns, and it's only 1 single hit. So when you compare that to these newer gargoyles that have soft skin for 3 hits or 4 hits or something, yeah, you're taking more damage than 1, but it's still dramatically reduced, and those heroes are a lot faster, and you're getting more out of it. So by comparison, not the most favorable comparison. Drops all damage dealt to the owner to 1, but is removed after 1 hit. So at slow speed, I just don't think I would recommend this hero in this tier. But I'll make my final recommendation in a moment. All right, last up, we have another super elemental hero, this time at the 20 tier. As I mentioned to start, Xandrella. Staff of Mana Control. All right, average speed. Deals 450% damage to the target and all ice enemies. Automatically does 438 damage to the target and all ice enemies when their mana gets full, and reduces their mana by 50% for 4 turns. So we kind of have like a super Hansel here. And, if you've been watching the channel for a while, I'm a big fan of Hansel. And this is just a better version, better stats, everything. His costume is nice because it's a fighter class. However, this is a good class fit for her as well. After the powers of alters the power of all nature shields on the board. When an attacking hero casts a special skill, the shields become enhanced and give plus 30% more mana. When a defending hero casts, they get minus 30% less mana. So I think this is my personal top choice, and this wasn't super easy for me, but this is a hero that I've really kind of admired since she came out. Obviously, not great for defense and not great for all attack teams, but if you have 2 ice enemies, well, now you're really screwing them over. Even if there's 1 ice enemy, you target somebody else knowing you'll hit the ice enemy as well, dealing a decent amount of damage. Let's see if that scales. Yep, automatically does 650 when it's full. And that's for 4 turns. You're only reducing mana by half, but that's for 4 turns, which is real nice. And then you have plus 37% mana generation. So for a green stack, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, this I think is who I'll take. That last part of altering the shields is kind of the icing on the cake for me. But I like that in the right situation, she's very good. And if it's not the right situation, then you'll just use a different team. So my pick in this tier is going to be Zandrella just because of how much is going on. Average speed is the only thing that's not ideal, because I'm sure you've all had the experience of now with how fast the meta is. There's plenty of times where an average speed hero, even a fast speed hero, never fires. It's like you get 7 turns in to a bad board and you're getting lit up by the enemy team, if not just outright killed at that point, and you just never get to use them. So a fast speed hero being able to charge with a 3-match and a 4-match with the right troop is a huge advantage to needing 3 full matches. So keep that in mind. So she would be my top choice. Like Cell, you can make work, and people might be able to share some interesting synergies they've found. Otherwise, between the other 3, I would say it's pretty even. Like Hypnos's utility is better, but damage is lower. She's kind of medium at everything. He hits a bit harder. Yeah, maybe he would be the best choice between cover, fighter class, decent damage to one target with additional damage to others. So yeah, somewhere around there. So that's the best I can really do. I know people want an answer of like, this is the hero you need, you must take this one. If someone's telling you that, it's not true, because there's too many considerations for someone to be able to give very specific advice just to all people at the same time. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Let me know what you ended up choosing. Many of you will probably say that you had already chose immediately when this became available, and I would urge you in the future just to take some time. It's not going anywhere. You're not going to forget, or maybe you'll forget, set an alarm or something, but it's not going anywhere, and there's no advantage to deciding sooner, and there are significant disadvantages, which is not really thinking it all the way through. So let me know who you chose, if you were pleased with the selection, if you enjoyed the content of the video and the discussion. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. Hopefully I'll be posting more. Yeah, good to be making this video, and hopefully I'll be talking to you all soon.